Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a review of the Moon Maid, the Three Keys trade paperback. This is from Edgar Rice Burroughs, Inc., and we're looking at the Kickstarter edition. The covers are exclusive to Kickstarter, but there will be a mass market edition that will be available on edgarriceburroughs.com at some point in the future, probably very soon, but it's not up right now. So this collects the three-issue miniseries from American mythology and has a new 12-page backup story by Mike Wolfer, and it also has a special one-page feature that has never been done before in Edgar Rice Burroughs comics, and I'll show you a little bit of that at the end. It has this wonderful cardstock cover. It looks beautiful all the way around, printed very well. The pages inside are nice thick paper. And it looks really great. All right, taking a quick look at these covers. So this is the regular cover by Mike Wolfer, and this is really well rendered. I mean, I love the coloring. I love the line work on these two heroes here. We've got Loina, the new Moon Maid, and her Vagas friend Vone, and they are fighting to protect their city there, and it looks really, really cool. The only thing that I would probably change about this cover is the background. This color scheme in the background just doesn't really do it for me. I would love something a little bit more dramatic that provides a little bit more contrast to make these two pop a little bit more. But again, the line work and the coloring on these figures is just amazing. And so the other regular cover is this photo cover, also by Mike Wolfer. And if the model on the cover looks familiar, that's because it's Natalie Jane. She letters a lot of his comic books, and she's also married to him, and is the model in so many of his photo covers. She's been like every monster he's ever created. And so now she is Loina, the Moon Maid, and it looks pretty damn awesome. The final cover was at a much higher tier, and this is by Frank Frazetta. This is his original Moon Maid painting, which doesn't have anything to do with this comic, and honestly doesn't have a whole lot to do with the novel. You know, obviously this is Frank Frazetta's version of things and doesn't really resemble what's inside of the novel. Most infamously, of course, this guy who's a Vagas is not a centaur. However, that's not Frank Frazetta's fault. There is nearly 100 years of cover artists portraying the Vagas as centaurs, going all the way back to the original Moon Maid novel with the cover by Alan St. John. I go into the history of inaccurate Moon Maid covers in my review of Frank Frazetta's Moon Maid one-shot from Image Comics. And in that review, I also talk about what the things in the novel actually were supposed to look like, including Edgar Rice Burroughs' own sketches of Vagas. And actually, it's kind of cool. This is actually based on Frazetta's second Moon Maid painting, so it's kind of fun to compare and contrast what these two look like. So Space Centaurs aside, what is this story about? So The Moon Maid is a trilogy of books by Edgar Rice Burroughs, creator of Tarzan and John Carter. And this is set between, I believe, the first two books. And so at this point, the Kalkar, who are these dissidents, have taken over the world inside of the moon, which is called Vana. It's this lush tropical world, but the Kalkar have taken it over and plunged it into a dark age. And this is when they've done that to the moon, but they have not yet invaded Earth and done the same thing to us yet. And so these two are among the survivors that we meet of the Kalkar's rampage. And so Loina is a mysterious young woman who is a survivor, and she's the protector of this city that's now abandoned, right? The Kalkars killed everyone in the city but her, and she protects a great secret inside the city, and she meets the Vagas, who are also survivors of the Kalkars rampage, but they're normally enemies of the humans in the moon, right? The Vagas eat each other, but they also eat humans, and incidentally, humans also eat Vagas. So these two races are normally enemies, even though occasionally they have each other for dinner. But this is a story about how these survivors put aside their differences and learn to live with each other and unite against the common foe of the Kalkar. The artwork is by Mariana Puglia, who is now doing some incredible work over at Dynamite, and she deserves every bit of success that she gets. I would hold her artwork up to just about any artist that's out there right now. And the artwork is beautifully colored. I mean, this is just absolutely perfect. The team just came together and really gelled to create one of the most beautiful comics that you can get. The story is only 3 issues, but it works perfectly in that space to create an epic that combines characterization and action and world building in a very, very satisfying way. And on top of all that, it makes Cute Vargas canon, which is an accomplishment all by itself. So this is a reprint of the miniseries, so everything that was in the individual issues is in here exactly as you remember it, except I did notice that there was a line added on the final panel, and it does mention a phrase that would have been the name of the next plot line that they were planning. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but I do definitely hope that that next plot line happens. So there is a 12-page backup story in the back, and this is written and drawn by Mike Wolfer. His work is a little sketchier than I'm used to from him, but the storytelling is very solid. It's kind of this, what feels like a filler story that is something that kind of hints at where they're going, but is not going to be referenced again, right? If they do the second plot line, it's something that you won't have to have read this to get what's going on there. It is mostly just her thinking about what happened and what to do next, but she does get to put on the wings and fly for the first time, which is kind of cool, and I'm sure that would be in the second plot line. And it also has her, kind of thinking about what she would be doing in that plot line as well. There is a nice scene at the end. I do like the idea there, and I think it probably does hint at some of the themes that would happen if there is another graphic novel of Moon Maid. All right, and let's talk about that mystery one-page feature in the back of here. So Marvel Comics has a long tradition of doing these comedic parody strips of their characters, and in more recent decades, they were done by Chris G, and I just love his stuff. And every time I read something, I'm like, man, I wish they would do a strip like that in their comic. And so, of course, when I'm reading Edgar Rice Burroughs comics, I'm thinking the exact same thing. And I don't know how they did it, but somehow they snuck into my head and stole that idea. And now we have ER Bites, which is every bit as funny and delightful as I thought it would be. This first one is fantastic, and I just love the artwork, and I love the punchline here. And they do plan for that to be a regular feature in their graphic novels going forward. So overall, this is an excellent trade. The only detractor for the Kickstarter was the price. This is $30. The Frazetta cover was like $90, and that's just too much for what you're getting, no matter how good it is. If they want to do that price point, I would hope that they could put in more material to justify it, or make it a hardcover, which would certainly make it easier to read because you kind of have to pry this thing open. But I didn't buy this really for the trade paperback. I was really buying this to support a cause, right? I want more comics, specifically more Moon Maid comics, right? And that's why I spent the money. Your mileage may vary, but if you don't want to spend that type of money, the individual issues are readily available for cover price. The mass market edition has not come out yet, so I don't know for certain how much it'll be. I'm just basically looking at what they did with the Jane Porter comics, which are a very similar price on their online shop as they were on Kickstarter. And by the way, speaking of this graphic novel, it is part of the big sale that they're having right now until January 8th. And so this is your one opportunity to get this for a few dollars less than normal. All right, that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, remember, if you live inside the moon, try not to eat all your neighbors, because at some point you might need their help. See ya.